First, we have some breaking news. We've just learned the U.S. Supreme Court will not delay the execution of an upstate man who is set to die by firing squad in less than 2 hours, unless the governor grants him clemency. This will be the state's first execution using firing squad and the first death row inmate to die by this method in the U.S. in the last 15 years. Fox Carolina's Brooklyn Cromer is live at Broad River Correctional in Columbia, where the execution is set to happen. Hi, Brooklyn.
Hey, Carrie. Well, Brad Sigmon has been on death row for more than 2 decades for a double murder out of Greenville County. Now, you can see a lot of media outlets are here in Columbia today. The parking lot is twice as full as we've seen in the past. Well, this week we got an exclusive look at the case files and evidence that led to his conviction. Sigmon used a baseball bat to beat his ex-girlfriend's parents, David and Gladys Lark, to death inside their home on East Darby Road in Taylors. The Lark's daughter had recently broken up with him, and he planned to kill her too. Sigmon abducted her at gunpoint and shot her as she jumped from the car and was able to escape. He stole an RV and went on the run for 10 days before he was arrested at a campground in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. I talked with a former reporter with Greenville News who covered the story back in 2001.
There is one intersection not far from that house. Every time I drive by it, I do think about it, near Sandy Flat, South Carolina. For some reason, when I drive by Sandy Flat, I always think of this case. So I remember driving through that intersection several times during that week, and every time I drive through Sandy Flat, I think of Brad Sigmon's case and this murder.
Sigmon chose to die by firing squad instead of lethal injection or the electric chair. His lawyers asked Governor McMaster to grant clemency, and the governor will announce his decision right before the execution at 6 o'clock. And we'll have live coverage of the press conference immediately following the execution this evening. Reporting live in Columbia, Brooklyn Cromer, Fox Carolina News.
All right, thank you, Brooklyn. And Fox Carolina is bringing you team coverage of this execution. Grace Runkle is joining me in studio to explain why firing squad is an option.
Well, it's not a common option. South Carolina is one of 5 states that allow execution by firing squad. So let's break down how that came to be. South Carolina has executed 46 people since the death penalty was reinstated in 1976. 7 of those were by electrocution and the rest were by lethal injection. But executions were essentially put on hold after 2011. South Carolina officials say they struggled to get doses of the drug used in lethal injections because the state didn't have strong enough shield laws. Now, these are laws that protect the identity of companies and people involved in the execution process. Officials said drug companies didn't want to do business unless their identities would be protected. So while lawmakers debated passing that legislation, the firing squad was proposed as an alternative. This, of course, was met with some backlash, but eventually it was approved in 2021. Still, executions didn't move forward until 2023 when lawmakers passed a shield law bill. With that, execution started back up last fall. But again, this is the first time South Carolina will have an inmate to choose to die by firing squad. And we are starting to see some more protesters gather outside the Broad River Correctional Facility. You can see them there. This is the death bell that's actually been touring around to different executions throughout the country. And, you know, just 30 minutes ago, we only saw 1 person out there. We're seeing a lot more right now. And we do know 1 person who is expected to be there today, and it's the brother of the last person to be executed by firing squad in the U.S. That was Ronnie Lee Gardner in Utah in 2010. Now, his brother has been very outspoken against the death penalty and the firing squad specifically. Grace Runkle, Fox Carolina News.